Hi, I'm Katie Crane, and this is the Pilates Lounge. Hi everyone, welcome to episode 47 of the Pilates Lounge podcast. Now, by the time this episode is released, it's going to be the end of November. The episode gets released on the 27th of November. So chances are you are listening to this even after that. And I've decided to use this episode specifically to help you celebrate the year that has been and to encourage you to really work towards creating the year that you want 2025 to be. I've been teaching Pilates for 20 odd years. I've had a studio for about the same time because there was nobody to work for when I started. So I opened a home studio, and you probably know the story, but over the years, the studio has expanded to the point where I now have over 10 staff and classes every single day. We have so many classes in our studio. We're very fortunate where I live to really be the leaders of what Pilates is. We set the bar for what Pilates is in our town. And it's a wonderful thing that our community and our clients often celebrate us for that. And for that, I'm super grateful. Nobody within our community looks at what we have curated as a fluke. None of what we offer, of what we do, of who we are as a studio has been just slapped together. There has been never spaghetti thrown at the wall. And part of the reason that my studio is so successful, and I've got the most amazing team that elevate me, that carry me, that take on the dreams that I have and help me curate those dreams. None of that is by chance. I've been really, really lucky throughout my career to have some amazing mentors. I've had a lot of guidance along the way. And I guess part of that is because my dad was always in business. I don't know any different, but to be from a family that was always in business. My father had his own business. My grandmother had her own business. So I grew up in an environment where it was normal for the whole family to be working on projects, to really be elevating each other and pushing each other to succeed and to achieve. It has not always been easy, but having been privy to my own parents and my grandparents having business, I had a pretty good idea from the get-go of how I could make things work. And I think that this is a super important conversation. This is why I'm having it with you today. A lot of us, I wonder, well, I see all the time. People go into the business of Pilates, the business of anything. You fall in love with something, you open up a business, and then you realize just how hard it is to make things work, just how much of a grind it is to be successful, just how much effort you have to put into being seen, that you have got to, or it feels like you've got to be able to do all the things. You have to be everybody in all of the positions all at once, and it can feel very overwhelming. It probably took me the first 5 years in business to realize that I could not do what I wanted to do on my own. And so I set about inviting people to join my team, handing off some of my extracurricular responsibilities, and I started to figure out where I best fit into the business. And over the years, that definitely has changed. It's forever changing as the business is constantly changing, evolving, growing, expanding, retracting, expanding again. My position is constantly changing as well. Being in business is very fluid. There's no doubt about that. But I've realized along the way that one of the most important things for us to do as Pilates professionals is to spend time in reflection. Now, this applies to every single aspect of what we do. When we teach somebody, that person comes to us with very personal goals, and it's up to us to help that person reach their goals. We cannot do that if we don't reflect on what it is that we're doing with that person. Because everybody's journey is such an individual story and with such individual goals, and they're all coming from a different place to start with, if we don't reflect on the work that we're doing, then we end up with this cookie cutter experience for everybody. And it's not where the magic lays in Pilates. I could go out and teach everybody the same exercise in a class over and over and over again, and potentially people would continue to come for a little while. But if you don't reflect on the work that you're doing when you're working with clients, then how do you get to see where you can improve things for that person? Now, this can apply in a class situation. I might go in with a program. If that's the way that you work, that's okay. You go in there with your program, you teach your program, you either go away, teach the next class, or you leave and go home. But during the episode of teaching that class, it's super important that we are recognizing that everybody within that class is having their own experience. And as a Pilates professional, one of our jobs is to almost be a detective and to be able to see whether or not the class that we have put together is resonating with that person, and for us to be able to walk away and have some sort of idea of what that person's goals may be, and really ask ourselves whether or not the class that we have put together for that person is helping them reach their goals. I call it, if we don't do that, I call that throwing spaghetti at the wall. If we're constantly throwing spaghetti at the wall, everything's just going to be one hot mess, and nobody wants to pay for one hot mess. Everybody wants an individualized experience within a community setting. People come to us because they love the community. That's the feedback that we get all the time. I love how I walk in the door and I feel so welcome. When I come to the Pilates studio, I feel like I'm coming home. When I come to class, I love to see everybody's smiling faces. I love how everybody is so warm and welcoming, and there's a few jokes going on, but we're all working towards our own goals. People love that sense of community, there's no doubt about it. But what people keep coming back for is the individual acknowledgement. So little things like, if Mary has 2 children, asking every now and then how her kids are going at school. If Clancy works away from home a lot, asking how her Pilates practice is going when she's not at the studio. If Jana is an avid walker, but she has sore knees, asking how going up and down the stairs is going for her at the moment, and does she feel like Pilates is benefiting her? It's these small interactions that we have with our individual clients that really keep them coming back. So as a Pilates instructor, we have to constantly be playing the role of a detective. And there's no doubt about it, that can take a heck of a lot of energy all the time. There's always energy output. The beauty of what we do is when we give, that gift of giving, that gift of instructing, the gift of offering our knowledge and our skills and our empathy, is that we receive at the same time. Every time we give to somebody, we in the same time get to receive from them, because they are feeling so good about their body, or they are moving towards their goals, or they are feeling like they're being heard. They are part of a community that they did not have before. And you are curating that. You are the person, or you are the studio that makes a difference to that person's life. And I think at this time of year, it's really important that you take time out and reflect on those things. So not only are we reflecting on what we have been teaching our clients along the way each time we teach them, but we also reflect at the end of the season, which is around about now. We take a moment to recognize the positive role that we play in people's lives. The reality of it is most people are out there looking for something, looking for somebody. And you would be surprised maybe to realize that you are that person to a lot of your community. Sometimes people don't tell us these things. You know, I remember when the lockdowns first happened with COVID, and I remember sending out this email to all of our clients letting them know that we had to shut down. And the resounding support that we received back from those clients completely blew me away. People were offering to continue to pay for their sessions so that we were okay. You know, people were asking if they could rent a reformer from us so that we could get money for them to rent a reformer. And we did that. Heaps of people came and collected reformers, and then we did online classes. But all of those things could not have happened if our clients didn't truly believe in us. Just a quick little interruption to say a big thank you to listening to the Pilates Lounge podcast. This podcast is all about sharing our love of movement and Pilates with as many people as possible. So if you're enjoying the show, please take a moment to review us so that we can get the word out there. Also, if you haven't joined us on the Pilates Muse newsletter, it's a bi-weekly newsletter that shares a whole load of information with you. And we also have virtual online education programs. So if you're looking to get inspired and grow even more as a Pilates professional, check us out, www.thepilatesprofessional.com.au. Back to the show. And our clients could not truly believe in us if the service that we were offering wasn't such a standout service. And this probably goes for most of us. Most of us are in a position where we are giving all the time that we actually don't know how else to be. We are naturally service to other type of people. We may be a little bit neurotic, a little bit perfectionist, but we truly have great empathy for people. And that's why we do the job that we do. And if we don't take time out to honor that, to recognize that, to sit with that for a moment and to celebrate who we are, then believe me, you will not be able to do this long term. Now, this is one of those really, really hard lessons that I've had to learn. And it's one of the reasons that I wanted to put this out there today. You know, for a long, long time, I really did not celebrate my wins. I really did not give myself accolades because I didn't want to look like I was one of those people who thought that I was amazing. And whenever a client would say something about me that I should celebrate something, say when we turn 5 years old or 10 years old, and a client would say, wow, this is such an amazing achievement. Well done, you. And I'd always turn around to them and say, oh no, it's because of you. And it's almost like when somebody gives us a compliment, if you don't accept that compliment graciously, it can actually come across as it is selfish. It's selfish not to take a compliment. This is what I've learned. But I used to not want to take the compliment because I would feel like then I was just being arrogant or something. There is no arrogance in taking a compliment. And in fact, when you allow your clients to celebrate you and give you that compliment and take it as a gift and be really grateful for it, like let them know that you were grateful for it. Don't just fob it off. Then, and only then, are you fulfilling that client's need for giving back to you. And I want you to remind you that right now, because you are at a time of year when clients will start saying goodbye. They're going to be going on holiday. Some people are going to be leaving town forever. All places have some sort of exodus at this time of year because maybe people have been working on a contract or something. But a lot of your people will be coming back, but they still want to say goodbye to you. They still want to say thank you to you. So please take that on board graciously and know that the work that you are doing truly is changing people's lives for the better. Now, this time of year, as much as we are winding down, some people are leaving, some people are trying to get in the rest of their sessions before they leave, and it can be a little bit frantic. This is also a time of anxiety for some people. Not everybody enjoys this time of year. I mean, heck, not everybody even celebrates Christmas. But traditionally, in our Western cultures, we are taking time out. I know that some of my staff that live in the Philippines, they're not taking time out. They don't celebrate Christmas. So not everybody does. But for many of us, we are taking time out and our clients are taking time out. But it can be quite an anxious time as well. If people are traveling, if people are going to be spending time with family that they don't normally spend time with, and goodness sake, I mean, how's it go? Fish and family or fish and friends, that they only last a few days. You wouldn't leave fish out of the fridge for too long because it's going to go off. Well, spending too much time with friends or spending too much time with family can be a little bit the same. So a lot of people are feeling a little bit on edge. Some people are going to be feeling on edge because maybe they don't have enough money to go do what they want to do, or maybe they've got family who are not well, or family that they don't get along with all the time. Christmas for our family, it is sometimes spending time with family members that we wouldn't normally be spending time with. And then you have to sit around and make small talk with those people. That's pretty common at this time of year. So as much as I know in the studio, it can get a little bit hectic around about now because there is that bit of agitation, that energy, a little bit of anxiety. Just be aware that it's not you, that because our clients do depend on us quite a bit and they might not realize it, and it's not always the healthiest relationship, but it's important for us to not bite back, to just allow things to slide off right now. This is when you want to be like a duck out of water. Whatever comes to you can just slide off. There is a little bit of anxiety around there. It's important for us to reflect and celebrate our own wins and achievements, and for us to encourage our clients to do the same. Sometimes people come to Pilates with pretty big goals, but a lot of the time people just want to feel better about themselves. They just want to fit in somewhere. They just want to move and they just want to be told what to do, because anybody can do Pilates on a mat at home. It's not rocket science. And this is what I always tell my clients when they go away and all of a sudden they get a little bit anxious, like, what am I going to do without my Pilates for a month? Well, you've been coming here for 7 years, twice a week. I'm sure you can think of something to do. But then they remind me that it's not that they don't know what to do, it's that they love being instructed. And don't we all? Like, I love going to somebody else's class. I don't care what you're going to do with me, but just tell me what to do. I just love that experience of handing myself over to somebody else while they instruct me through something, because it lets me get out of my head for a little while. It can clear our head for a little while. If we're really busy and we've got a lot going on and somebody else is talking to us, instructing us through a class, then it allows us to let go of the busy for a little while and really focus in and be very present. And that's one of the gifts that Pilates is when you're being taught by somebody else. So maybe a nice little gift that we could be giving our clients would be some online classes. Maybe you've got some videos that you've got left laying around from good old COVID days. If COVID gave us anything, it gave us the forced ability to be able to film a class and share it with somebody, albeit it may not have been a very good one, but hey, it's there. Maybe you could just gift it to somebody. That's what we do every Christmas time. We gift all of our members 12 days of Pilates classes online for free. You don't have to pay for it. We've just got that library there. We rarely update it, but it's just something that people can do just so that then you are still in the back of their mind, maybe even in front of mind when it comes to movement. But, celebrating those wins and achievements is super important. So maybe send out an email to your clients and invite them to reflect on where they've come in the last 12 months. And then where do they hope to be in the next 12 months? What is their big kahuna? Or what are their bigger goals? What are their most aspirational dreams when it comes to movement or travel or anything that their physical body may allow them to do? And then remind them how Pilates plays a role in that. But for you, as a Pilates professional, what are your wins and achievements? What has been some of your highlights for the year? Reflection is not only on how we have helped other people, but what have we gained? How have we grown? How have we expanded, both as a business, as a person, professionally and personally? Because we're constantly emerging to become our own greatest potential. This is one of the beautiful things about the nature of movement, of Pilates, is that it's constantly transforming us. And as we continue to transform and to emerge and to become, then things can only get better. And isn't that a beautiful thing to consider, that we have chosen a profession of growth, that we have chosen a profession of expansion. And as we expand physically, as our bodies transform and we change, we also get to know our body better. And as we get to know our body better, then we intuitively connect with our mind so much better. And as we connect the mind and the body, then we don't have to rely on the outside world to be giving that information, because we sit with that information within ourselves. Our foundation is so much stronger. Our constitution is so much stronger. This is the gift that Pilates is. So not only does that end up being a gift for us within our movement, but we can embody that same growth mindset, that same transformative experience in our teaching and in our business. So recognize from where you have grown and from who and to what you are growing into, and then take a moment for setting your intentions for the future. Don't leave that until January, because by the time January comes around, you're already busy. You've already hit the ground running. And if you hit the ground running without envisioning your goals, without setting intentions, believe me, my friends, from experience, from failing to get things done, I can tell you now, it ain't going to happen. Or there is less chance of those things happening if you don't set up for them now. So, to wrap up this show, I really encourage you to set the goals for next year now, if you haven't already done it. Now, by the time you listen to this episode, I've already planned out my entire 2025. So now I'm filming this episode, but I've already planned out, as far as the podcast is concerned, the entire next season. So I've already planned out 12 weeks. And then, so I've already got that set in stone. I've already made the dates for it. I've already got the episodes, got the interviews booked in with people. And I know then what the next season is going to be. So for next year, for 2025, we're doing like 12-week seasons. We're doing 4 different seasons for the Pilates Lounge podcast, which is going to be amazing. I cannot wait to share with you. But the first season is all around the business of Pilates. And I decided that because the episode with Leslie Logan was such a hit, and I've had so many comments and questions and people reach out to me with inquiries about the business of Pilates that it made me realize that not everybody has got a handle on that. And I don't know why that surprises me, because let's be realistic. We become Pilates instructors because we love Pilates. But whether or not you are an instructor working for somebody else, you're a subcontractor working at a whole lot of different places, you have a studio of your own and you're employing people, or you're working from home, you are a business. You have a business. You are a brand. And so for the first 12 weeks, for the first season of 2025, I'm going to be focusing specifically on the business of Pilates to help you really grow your own business. So I can't wait for you to be there. But that is already planned out. I already know what you're going to be getting. This is how important it is to set your intentions for the future and to create goals. So by the time this episode goes out, not only have I already done that, but I'm also with a marketing mastermind. It's a company called Her Business, and I've been with them for many years. And as part of my membership with them, I meet up with a group of amazing women, amazing business women from all over Australia. We meet up 4 times a year. And we basically, each time we meet up, then part of what we do is set our goals for the next 90 days, except for our meeting in November, which I would have done by the time this episode rolls out. In November each year, we get together for a full day of planning for the next year. It's literally from like 9 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon. We do nothing but plan our calendars. Everything else is set aside. You might think that planning your calendar and taking a whole day to do it is like a little bit overwhelming or a little bit too much, a little bit overkill. But I tell you what, it doesn't matter how small your business is, whether you're a one-man band, one-woman band, or whether you are a studio or multiple studios, you need to do this. I really encourage you to do this. So if you haven't done it yet, do it now. Get yourself a diary for 2025. Mark out any specific events that you know that you're going to be hosting as a studio, or any specific workshops or whatever that you know that you're going to be going to or putting together. Put in all of your holidays that you want to take, any of your self-care days that you know that you need time out for, any family commitments, any other staff commitments. So I've already asked my staff to let me know when they need to be taking time off for next year, especially for my casual staff. Do you know that you've got any big trips booked? And they know that they need to be giving them to me before the end of the year. And all of that goes into our diary. So the podcast is set up. I do teacher training. I've already got all of my teacher training dates set. If I'm presenting anywhere, I've already got them in the diary. I've got all of my main staff members' holidays in the diary. 2025 is not here yet, my friends, but I know what's happening. And of course, it's not linear. Things are constantly changing, and that's okay. You don't have to be stuck in the mud about it. But the more you know, the clearer you are on what you want for the next year, the more likely you are to achieve it. So if you go into next year and you're a little bit hazy, like, nah, well, I think I wouldn't mind going to the Pilates conference that is on, but I'll just see if I've got time. It's probably not going to happen. Or I think I might go on a retreat, but I'm just going to see if I can afford it. It ain't going to happen. You need to set all of this up now. Trust me. If you do this, you can afford what you need to do because you'll make sure you've got the money for it. You will have the time to do it because because you've already planned it in your diary, and you will make sure that you've got the cover for it if that's what you need to do. But if you don't plan ahead, then nothing's going to happen. So now that I've got you setting your intentions for the future, I want you to think of a couple more things before we leave today. Take time out and practice some restorative practices. So get out of the studio. Whether you shut your business down for just the public holidays or just Christmas Day or for a week or for a month or whatever it is, just because you're not teaching, it doesn't mean that you've got to go into the studio and do other things. Make sure that you really do have some time out. Because if you don't continue to look after yourself, if you don't put your health first, then you will burn out. I hear it too many times after being in business for 20 years and still absolutely loving what I'm doing and being so passionate about being a studio owner and not wanting to do anything else. The only reason that I'm at that point that I'm able to say that to you after 20 years of doing what I do is because I've got everything in place that I need to be able to do what I love. If Pilates is your superpower, don't give it up for things like having to email clients when you should be resting or having to clean the studio when it's your day off. Get help. You deserve time out. Go down the beach and take a walk. If you are somewhere that it's cold, sit outside on the balcony and revel in the fact that your cheeks are so rosy right now. Because those of us who live in the tropics, we couldn't imagine what it's like to be cold. Meditate. Turn off the podcasts. As much as I love that you listen to me, you don't have to be listening to something all the time. Spend time with yourself. Journal. Start a journal if you're not journaling yet. Write down 10 things that you're grateful for every single day and continue to practice that. I promise you it will change your life. Spend quiet time in reflection. Read a book, not a Pilates book. Read a fiction. Get out of your Pilates head for a little bit and practice some self-compassion. Rest is one of the most productive and essential things that we can do for sustainable self-growth. If you normally work at night, enjoy taking some nights off. If you normally work before the sun gets up, enjoy having a cup of tea in bed. But most of all, remember the role that you play in your community is so, so powerful. And that if we had more people who wanted to serve their community, who wanted to give back, who wanted to offer something that was healthy, that gave people responsibility or gave people back some self-responsibility for their health. That's what Pilates does. It empowers people to take control. Can you imagine what a better world this would be? So I want to take a moment to thank you, our listeners, the Pilates professionals, the movement educators, the Pilates lovers, the movement lovers, to thank you, because this podcast could not be here without you. Thanks so much for listening. My name's Katie Crane. I'm the Pilates professional. This is not the last episode for the season. I know that it feels like we are winding down, and we are. It's true. But there are a couple more episodes to come. In fact, there's about 5 episodes to come before we wrap up the season. And some of them are very fascinating. So stick with me, people. I'll see you next Wednesday, or you will hear from me next Wednesday. Take care for now as this holiday season starts to ramp up. Wherever you are, no doubt you're hearing Christmas carols everywhere you go. Deal with it. Mariah Carey's going to be around for a little bit longer. I'll see you next Wednesday. Take care, my friends. Bye for now.